I can't believe this. You mean to tell me you could cop 10 to 20 because some crooked cop verbaled you and you can't even dob in the one they really want?
That's about the size of it.
Well, the whole bloody system stinks. The law's supposed to protect the innocent.
I thought you had that figured out by now. The law and justice haven't got anything to do with each other, especially for people like us.
I'll hold the fort if you feel like a break.
No, it's all right. But something's come up that needs discussing.
Trouble?
In a word, yes. And if it's not nipped in the bud soon, it'll make our new security measures look like a joke.
Yes, all right. Get to the point, please.
Well, some of the women seem to be getting items that aren't on the buy-up list. Now, that can only happen if someone brings them in from outside.
Well, then, we'll have to screen the visitors a little more carefully, won't we?
I wasn't thinking of visitors.
What is it, Miss Ferguson?
Now, I don't like accusing a fellow officer, but...
Which officer?
Meg Morris.
Oh, don't be ludicrous. Meg Morris is an officer of the highest integrity.
But she has done time in here, and she makes no secret of her interest in the women's welfare.
Yes, well, she's been a probation officer in the past.
Yeah, and her attitude counteracts our regulations. The very regulations that you, as Deputy Governor, are trying to enforce.
Fine. I'll speak to Mrs. Morris. Now, if that is all.
I suggest a body search.
Out of the question.
Something wrong?
I insist, Mrs. Powell. The regulations state that an officer can be searched at any time.
What's going on, Colleen?
Well, Miss Ferguson here seems to think that you've been smuggling goods into the women.
And she wishes to conduct a body search on me. Is that correct?
Yes.
It is in the regulations.
What utter nonsense. Colleen, you can't seriously
If you
believe...
have nothing to hide, Mrs. Morris, your objection is pointless.
How dare you? How long is this farce going to continue?
It is in the regulations.
The regulations also state that there has to be sufficient reason for a body search. You've no proof to back up your accusations.
My experience as an officer
That
tells...
cuts both ways. My experience tells me that you're as suspect as I allegedly am, or Mrs. Powell for that matter. So let's search you whilst we're at it, shall we?
Oh, come on, Meg. This isn't going to get us anywhere.
Quite the contrary. Rules are rules. I'll agree, providing we're both searched. Ferguson first.
Well?
Well, I have nothing to hide. But this exercise is pointless, so I will withdraw my accusation. For the time being. Forget it.
And I'll withdraw mine. But I certainly won't forget it. And I'm damn sure no one else had put up with it.
I'm inclined to agree, but...
Erica, I have been here for years, and I have always given you complete loyalty. All right, I'm experienced and should be able to cope with it. But what about the junior officers? We'll be losing staff if this is allowed to continue. Joan has her knife into me because I told the truth at the VJ hearing. I thought at least you'd give me some support.
I would, but she hasn't stepped outside the guidelines. She's going strictly by the book.
She's scanning the fine print, and you know it. Now, first there was that ridiculous class switch. For what reason? None. And now this flimsy accusation. I just don't believe that Ferguson has the right to search me, rules or no rules. How would you like her to perform a body search on you?
Bugger me dead. Calm down, Meg. You know I can't expect any support from Ted Douglas, but that doesn't mean I condone Ferguson's actions. She's implementing the regulations to her own advantage. I know that, but officially I can't stop her. However, I want you to report her movements.
What good will that do?
Forewarned is forearmed. Sooner or later she's going to get caught in her own trap. Just bear with it a little longer.
All right. But it can't continue.
It won't.
says to me, how's Trix? Well, I was only 14 then. That's how I got me name. I've been Trixie ever since.
14?
Yeah, I was a slow starter.
All right, a little less noise and a lot more work.
Miss Ferguson, is it all right if I speak?
Depends what you want to say, Lawson.
I want to see the governor, please.
What about?
Well, it's a personal matter, but it's urgent.
All right.
What's Paddy up to then?
I hope it's not what I think it is.
Yes, that looks fine. Just make sure that Mrs. Barfield is available that weekend.
Right.
Are you sure you would like a cup of tea?
Oh, no, I better complete these. Birdsworth, have you finished yet?
Won't be a tick.
Excuse me, Governor, I have Lawson outside. She says it's urgent.
Bring her in. Would you stay, please? Miss Ferguson, would you take Birdsworth to the kitchen and then back to the laundry, please?
Certainly, Governor. Come on, Birdsworth.
Now, what is it, Lawson?
Hazel Kent's in here for something she didn't do.
That's a familiar claim.
She's innocent. That robbery money the police found her with wasn't hers. She stole it from one of the women at the halfway house.
And then that woman conveniently disappeared, I suppose.
No, she didn't. She's right here.
In Wentworth?
Yeah, Jean Carter.
How do you know all this?
Well, Hazel told us for one thing, but Judy Bryant knows about it too. Carter told Judy her money was missing, but she wouldn't let her call the cops. Next thing Judy knew, Hazel had been picked up by the cops and they were giving out some cock and bull story about her confessing.
Why didn't she tell me this herself?
She's scared. You know what happens to laggers, Mrs. Davison. She doesn't stand a chance unless someone speaks up. Look, I'm risking an awful lot lagging like this. You got to do something.
All right, I'll make inquiries. Take Lawson back, please.
Okay.
And bring Jean Carter to see me.
And then Mrs. M really gave Dover what for because Ferguson had asked to search her car and then asked her to strip off and search her.
Strip off? Oh, come on, Lizzie, you're having this on.
Well, I had me ear to the door, so I ought to know. Are you sure Ferguson's body searched her?
Yeah.
What did Davo say? Oh, screws!
Carter, the governor wants to see you.
Me? What for?
Well, why don't you ask her? Come on.
It's going to be all right, Hazel. I told Davo the whole story.
Well, damn you! What's going to happen to me now?
You lagged to the governor?
I told the truth. They're still lagging, though. Well, what could I do?
I'll give you one thing, Patty. You've got guts. By God, you're going to need them. No matter how much you dislike the system, there is no excuse for lagging. Not ever.
It's a pack of lies. Sure, I had money stolen, but it wasn't from a robbery. If I had that much, why would I be staying at a dump like Driscoll?
Why would Lawson make such an allegation?
Well, how would I know? Maybe she just likes causing trouble.
I shall have to check all this out.
Seems to me this place is full of laggers on both sides.
That will be all, thank you, Carter. Would you take her out, please, Mrs. Powell?
You're wasting everybody's time, I tell you.
Just get out, will you?
Sergeant Tanner, please. Erica Davidson from Wentworth Detention Centre calling. Hello, Sergeant Tanner?
Yes, Mrs. Davidson, what can I do for you?
I've just been given some information about Hazel Kent.
Information?
Yes, my source tells me that Jean Carter, not Kent, was responsible for the robbery. Is that possible?
I doubt it, Mrs. Davidson. We found the money on Kent, and besides, we've got a signed confession. It's pretty open and shut to me.
Still, it would put my mind at ease if you would run a check on Jean Carter for me.
Well, okay, Carter, you said?
Yes. She's currently serving 21 days here.
Right. I'll get back to you. For my sake, I hope you're wrong, lady.
Any sign of Lizzie and Maxine?
Give it a go. They only just left.